विग्रहां त्रिनयनां माणिक्यमौली स्फुरत् तारानायकशेखरां स्मितमुखीमां मीनवक्षोरुहाम् पाणिभ्यामलिपूर्णरत्नचषकं रक्तोत्पलं सौम्यां रत्नघटस्थरक्तचरणां ध्यायेत् परामम्बिकाम् सततज्वर विषमज्वर ग्रह नक्षत्र दोषाञ्चान्या हर हर काली सर सर गौरी गम गम विद्ये आले माले काले बन्धे भज भज विद्ये मख मख विद्ये नाशय नाशय पापम् हर हर दुःस्वप्नम् विध्वंसय विध्वंसय
सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.
Namaste and welcome you all for this final Purnahuti day of this Mandalotsava, almost 41 days of the global festival of yoga, that Indica Yoga, under the auspices of Indic Academy, along with all its partner organizations, are brought to the entire yoga world for all these days. And as we say, everything that begins good has to have a good end to get revitalized and start again. So that is how today we are coming to a good end today of this 41 days of global festival of yoga. And as we all know today in India, especially the South India, that is a very auspicious occasion of Varamahalakshmi that we are celebrating. Varamahalakshmi is a goddess of boons and fortune. So even in this pandemic situation, with a lot of hopes that we will all come out of this situation and have better hopes in future. With this, we are celebrating today the Varamahalakshmi Puja. And it's such a divine coincidence that on this Varamahalakshmi, this global festival of yoga from Indica Yoga is also coming to a samarpana. We are offering this yajna to the entire humanity, the entire globe, Mother Earth as such, as our samarpana. And that is how when this yajna comes to an end, when we are having this Lakshmi Puja, we also have with us today, Saraswati, a living Saraswati. Saraswati is a goddess of inspiration and knowledge. And we are so happy and fortunate to have with us the yoga mother, Dr. R. Nagaratna Didi, who is one of the co-founders of SVASA, the medical director there, about whom we will see much more at life of yoga, a saga of yoga that she is, right? We have been hearing about karma yoga, how dedicated our actions can become, yoga in itself. And that is how Dr. Nagaratna has made a life of tapasya, a life of yogic penance, I would say. And with this, brought through her selfless life, a wonderful institution, the Arogya Dhama it could be, and Vivekananda Yoga Nusandhana Samsthana, which has become a big banyan tree in yoga. And many in this yajna had been her children, had been her students. And the numbers would be going on almost, if we say, more than half of the people would have been trained by her. And that is how today we are having this, like all the waters of the streams will go into the ocean. Today we have with us the Yoga Sagara, Dr. Nagaratna Didi, to be our chief guest. So on behalf of Indica Yoga and all the partner organizations, I welcome Dr. Nagaratna Didi for this yajna. Namaste. And also we have with us Shri Harikiran Ji, who is the founder of Indic Academy, under whose guidance all these things may be the Center for Soft Power or Indic Yoga, and all these activities are going under his guidance. So we have his presence also, along with many other partner organizations. We are represented by all the partnering organizations today. I welcome all of them, each one of them from all the partnering organizations, and our participants who have been, as our family. But for you, this yajna would not have got continued. We thought of completing it in 30 days, but the the thirst of knowledge that you all wanted, and that is what made us to extend it for the next 10 more days. And that is how you being the very important aspect of this yajna. Any yajna is not complete without the participants who are there. And we are so glad and happy that you all have become the part of this global yoga family. And I offer my salutations and welcome all of you as well for this wonderful yoga yajna that today we are coming to offer to the global Mother Earth. With this, once again, I welcome each one of you, and I request now, and all the anchors also, but for the anchors, we would not have been able to run this successfully. It was like a yoga-thon, yoga marathon. So morning, afternoon, evening, as I tell, like the way we do the rituals, pratar, madhya, sayam, sandhya. That is how we have been having wonderful sessions, and we had a wonderful panel of anchors who have been with us. So they're also today joining with us, and I welcome all the guests, the co-organizers, the organizing partner organization representatives, and also all the anchors and all the fellow delegates and participants. Namaste, Suswagatam to all of you. I request now Anuji to lead further.
So namaste, dear friends. As Sububaya very rightly told us, today is like the Purnahuti, the oblation, the final oblation of the 41 days Mahayajna that we have been conducting. A small note on the concept of the Yajna. In the Vedas, when they talk of Yajna, it forms the core, the very heart of the Vedic tradition. And the rishis in their meditations recognize that the entire universe was in a process of exchange. There is a give and take that is happening at all times. So they asked us to offer our very best to the devas, the forces of light. And it is through this offering that in return we would be blessed by the cows, the wells, the children. So everything that would help us grow to our highest potential. So in this last 41 days, we have been doing this very sincere and heartfelt. We have collectively, not just the speakers, but also the participants, have through a sincere dedication been offering the very best of ourselves to the divine goddess and in the form of the yoga vidya.
With this, any thing we need, when we bring flowers, we need a sutra to tie the flowers and make a garland. Such flowers were all the presenters every day that we had. And the sutra was none other than Sri Vinay Chandra and also Anuradha ji. So a garland has two sides of it. So that is how we had at one side Vinay Chandra ji and Anuradha. The Gita says Sutre Manigana Iva. So we had two sutras bringing, and then with Indica Yoga as the center, the thing. So it has been wonderful thing that both of them have been doing. And I think on all our behalf, we should really place on record the wonderful work that both Vinay ji as well as Anuradha ji has been doing. And on all our behalf, on all the participants' behalf, I take the privilege to congratulate and thank both the curators of this wonderful event. With this, I request Vinay Chandra ji, who has been the main force behind this, to give his report and summary of what the whole event has been, how it has been.
Namaste. Sabhai Namaha. Sabhasadbhyo Namaha. Any work that nears its completion will push us into a sense and feeling of gratitude. Gratitude towards all those forces which has made this possible. And at that moment, it's really a beautiful moment where we would like to just go through that whole sequence as to how things unfolded, how things blossomed in a beautiful manner, the way it did. We were just the instruments of something that was beautifully unfolding, and we are happy to take you through that whole process, how it happened. So I'd like to share this in the form of a presentation. But before that, I would also like to make this a submission. Like for us, it's something big and beautiful, and we would like to present before people like Diti, but it's very akin to something a small child, when it does even a simple thing, it's so feeling so proud and happy, and it wants to show it towards its elders, to its mother. That's exactly the kind of situation we are in. We are just offering it to all the teachers, all the masters, the Rishi Parampara, and everyone who has made this possible. So taking you through this wonderful experience that we had. When more than anything, it's one of the most rewarding experiences. So I'll quickly take you through the process and how it unfolded. So we started this Global Festival of Yoga on the International Yoga Day. Before this, actually, we had a month-long celebration of oneness, which was started on the Shankara Jayanti. So starting from Shankara Jayanti, we had one whole month of deliberations, similarly like this, on from Advaita Academy, which is one of the allied or one of the other verticals of Indic Academy, about which Sri Harikiran ji will be speaking a little later. So inspired by that entire month-long proceedings and the way it touched people's lives, we thought we could do something similar. And it was also this time of the pandemic, and we were wondering what best to do. Then it is at that moment we thought, okay, we'll also go in for a global festival of yoga, and the focus will be on wellness, because there was so much of discussion all over happening around illness, the pandemic, the dangers that were associated to us. So we thought we would have to discover the wellness which is there in all of us, and this could be one such occasion where we can really explore it in all its multiple dimensions. So with this, we started thinking about it in the month of May itself. And then we reached out to many people, but we were thinking, what is that we would like to celebrate in this whole event? So then we thought, okay, we'll have to identify, or we'll have something called the spirit of yoga, the timeless spirit which has touched and transformed lives of peoples across the world. So that we thought we'll be celebrating. And for us, we wrote ourselves, what is that spirit of yoga? So yoga is an aspiration to discover the truth of being. Yoga is a quest to seek the best within and without. Yoga is a passion for transformation. Yoga is an adventure of consciousness into unknown territories. Yoga is a promise of possibilities. And yoga is an awakening into a life of joy, contentment, and freedom. So this, we thought, is the central and the core spirit of yoga, which you would like to bring out through the celebration. And we also set ourselves some objectives. So one was celebrating yogic wisdom, traditions, and practices on a global scale. We believe at Indica in diverse and inclusive approach to yoga. Anything that is authentic, immersive, and transformative, and which helps us to transit from our lower existence to a higher existence is what we consider as yoga. So we wanted to bring in as many traditions as possible, practices as possible, and the wisdom that is embedded in these practices and traditions. Building synergies between science and spirituality, philosophy and practice that enhance human wellness and happiness. Human wellness and happiness has to be informed from multiple dimensions, and each of these dimensions are connected, closely connected. It's only we in our limited vision, we make those distinctions and compartments, but there's a time, there is again and again, there is a need to bring them together. So that was one of our quests, and exploring techniques, technologies, and practices of yoga for promoting individual, social, and collective well-being. This is also what we wanted to really explore here. It's not just the individual well-being that is important, but social as well as the collective well-being, because the absence of which, or the problem is that what we are facing today is exactly at the collective level, and it's also influencing the individual level. So how can we work it out? That was one area that we wanted to explore. And finally, we know we have such conscious communities which have been working for many years, many decades in different parts of the world. No one can claim exclusivity. So this could be a platform where we could bring them all together. And that was one honest attempt we did here, connecting the global communities committed to conscious living. So with this, we set out looking for our pillars of strength with whom we can actually organize this program. And then we had a long list of friends who came in. One, I would like to definitely begin with Indian Yoga Association, which is the umbrella organization of all the yoga organizations, institutions in the body. That's one of the biggest organizations which has been patronized by various important, several gurus have blessed it, and thousands of organizations are part of it. And Indian Yoga Association came in as a partner. Then we were also fortunate to have European Union of Yoga, which is an apex body of different national federations of yoga in Europe. About 24, 22 national federations are part of European Union of Yoga. And it's one of the main, or one of the early yoga bodies which came up in Europe, which is spreading authentic and transformative approach to yoga. In fact, they have very high standards of yoga teacher training, and they also were influenced and inspired by many monks, sannyasins, yoga gurus who went from India in early 50s, 60s, and 70s. So we were able to get them, and we were also fortunate to have GPIW, that is Global Peace Initiative of Women, which is headed by Deena Miriam. Deena ji has joined us. In fact, we also have Gabby ji from European Union of Yoga who has joined us. So GPIW is an organization dedicated for conflict resolution and peace, promotion of peace. So they have expertise in organizing the dialogues, discussions, panel discussions. So we were fortunate to have them, and through them we were able to reach out to some exceptional speakers and resource people. And another body which is a part of our Indica family is Soft Power, that is Center for Soft Power, which is dedicated to enhance or strengthen the cultural ties that India has with various other countries of the world. So Vijayalakshmi Vijay Kumar ji had joined us in the beginning, and they also were the ones who had commissioned this beautiful video Namami Yoga Vidya. Last time they had come up with Yoga Niyoga, India's yoga anthem, and this year it was Namami Yoga Vidya, which she had commissioned and which she personally took interest and came up with this beautiful concept and the presentation. We also had other partners who had joined in. We have Ritambhara. Ritambhara is a conscious network that has been instituted by Raghu Anantnarayan ji. You have heard him on this festival, and he was there this morning also as a part of the panel that we had on Yogacharya program. Then we have Vyasa Yoga of Singapore, Manoj Thakurji, they were our partners. We have Vyasa Yoga Houston, from where we had Smita ji, who had joined us on a couple of occasions. And we also have Ritambhara, which is a Bangalore-based organization dedicated for wellness, who conduct retreats, workshops, and programs across the globe. So all these were our partners, and we were very happy and proud to have them as our partners, which helped us to reach out to as many people as possible. So with this, when we had our collaborators, we were quite confident to take this leap forward. And that's why we announced, initially we announced a month-long festival starting from 21st June and going on up to 20th July, which was having 3 sessions a day. Morning 7 to 8:30, noon 11:30 to 1, and evening again 7 to 8:30 in the evening. But because of the response we were getting, because of the kind of speakers we had, we were compelled to extend the session for program for at least 11 days more till 31st July. So, but in the extended period, we had only 2 sessions, morning and in the evening. And just to give you an overall idea in terms of numbers, we had about 112 sessions. So if I exclude the inaugural and the valedictory and the discussion on making of Namami Yoga Vidya, and today this morning's session on Yogacharya panel, that is 4 sessions of, we really had 108 technical sessions, which is again not planned, but something that emerged here. And of all these sessions, we had about 38 practical sessions, practicals of different nature: asana, pranayama, bhajan, kirtan, meditation, yoga nidra, nidra yoga. So these were all various sessions. Then we had philosophic or scientific presentation, about 62 in number, about 12 panel discussion sessions. And total number of speakers that we were able to get on this festival was 124, representing 24 different countries. In fact, India was a big number, but the other big number was also from US. So we had 24 different countries that were represented here, and total number of hours that went into the whole festival, just the number of sessions, is about 170 hours. And we also had a very good supporting team within the IY group, that is Indica Yoga group, which also included anchors, that was about 15 in number. And in terms of participants, that has been a huge success for us. We had about total unique registrations for the entire festival. About 8,000 people had registered. And from the FB leads, we were able to reach out to some 25,000 people. So all in all, we were able to reach out to some 33,000 people. And each session, if we look into the morning session, we had about 6,000 people who had joined us all in all, about 4,000 for the noon sessions, and about 7,500 or a little more than that for the evening sessions. And each session, on an average, we had about 158 to 160 people, and sometimes the range was between 130 to 250 per session. So this was the way it unfolded. And of the people, of the participants we had, I don't know which country we can leave out. Most of the countries, if I look into the registration list, at least we have about 60 to 80 countries names from where participants have registered. So this has been something that actually gave us a shot in the arm and allowed us or pushed us to continue with the work that we were doing. And various kinds of themes were covered. But if I had to just to put them in a couple of presentations, so it was all about transformation, it's about Vedanta, Sanskrit back care, Santosha, Krida Yoga, Tibetan mool singing, so Mooladhara Chakra. I mean, this just to give you a glimpse of what all happened and transpired here. These were all largely the individual sessions, but we had about 12 panel, group, and conversation sessions. So we had one on Namami Yoga Vidya and 4 important panel discussions on human unity, mystical traditions of the world, dharma, yoga and economic well-being, and yoga unity with nature, perspectives from indigenous environmentalists. These were specially curated by GPIW for us with exceptional speakers, thinkers, philosophers from across the world. We also had it on Natya Yoga, Nada Yoga. We had it on mindfulness in the workspace from IIT Kharagpur. We had a special session on food. Food is auspicious by 2 chefs with us. And this morning we had a lovely session on designing a Yogacharya program. So this is in a nutshell the number of sessions that we had. And this is a list of anchors, but I'll come back to this a little later. So with this, we consider it whatever objectives we set out to reach out to as many number of people, to bring in as many traditions as possible here on one platform. To a large extent, we were successful because of 2 reasons. One, the generous participation guidance of our speakers and all the panelists who appeared here. Each one was so generous. Each one was so willing to share whatever they wanted to share. So that made it a successful thing. So that is one side. On the other side, all our participants so enthusiastically, like some participants sat through the session. Sometimes it was 2 hours and all the 3 sessions. So morning, noon, and the evening they sat through and they were sharing their feedback, commenting, writing to us. We were not able to cope up with response to them, but yet they had owned this. So owning from our panelists, owning ownership from our participants. I think these are the 2 pakshas, these 2 wings, which made this bird to fly and keep on flying. So this, we would like to offer it to all our teachers here, especially Nagratna Didi, mentor Hari Kiran ji. This is a small thing that we could do, and please receive it, and whatever mistakes, limitations are there, again, we leave it to you to kindly forgive us and guide us to go forward. So with this short, brief report of the entire event that transpired in 41 days, now I would like to request Hari Kiran Vadlamani ji, who is the founder of Indic Academy. Indic Academy is the mother body under which there are several verticals like Indica Yoga, Indica Pictures, Indica Yatra, Indic Today. So there are multiple platforms, multiple centers, which all are working towards bringing about a global renaissance based on Indic civilizational thought. The thought which is at once universal in nature and which can touch and transform lives of people. So that is what he's completely focused on. Everything that you can see happening under Indica banner, you can always immediately get to know that is the Hariji is there behind with his head, heart, my pocket, everything is what Hariji is putting in. So with this brief introduction to Hariji, one can never say enough about him. He's also, he's an investor, a budding, an aspiring artist, a columnist, and someone who is very creative in everything that he does. So that is Hari Kiran ji. I now request Hari Kiran ji to kindly give us an overview of Indic Academy, and the various aspirations it holds for our times now.
Thank you. Thank you, Vinay. That was a very generous introduction. It is indeed an overwhelming feeling when you reeled out so many statistics in that presentation. Just want to share how this festival started, the idea of this festival, specifically the yoga festival. I live in Singapore, and there is this festival in Bali called the Bali Spirit Festival. It happens in Ubud every year in the month of April. And, been planning to visit that festival to see how it's happening, and, can we replicate something there? And one idea that struck me was that perhaps we can do a festival in Singapore, because this is a global festival. Bali Festival is a global festival, and everybody flies to Bali through Singapore. So, you can just 2 days before or 2 days after, if you plan for a festival in Singapore, then one can do a festival in Singapore. And this was one idea that we were discussing, Vinay and I, that perhaps we should do this. And then, but again, the longing to do it in India, do a festival, yoga festival in India. And we know that there is a big, very, very big festival that happens in Rishikesh. And Raghu, my friend, and Vinay also went last year to just observe the festival and see what are the issues there, how it's happening. And then we looked at having this festival in Bangalore, have a festival in the south. So we were working on it, and we were talking to a few people and said, okay, let's try and do this in Bangalore. And then COVID happened. So we didn't know what to do. And then we thought probably we should drop this idea. And after doing the Oneness Festival, then Vinay called me and said, look, why don't we do a yoga festival also? Like I was so excited and joyful about this whole idea. And then I was keeping on calling him and just, it was a very exciting idea that we should do the yoga festival. And this happened sometime in April. And then today we have this festival with such a hugely successful festival. So I must first and foremost thank you, Vinay, and thank you, Anu, for curating this fantastic lineup. I mean, this is a dream for any enabler like me, that somebody has taken it up and delivered something so immensely satisfying. Before I talk a little bit of Indica Yoga, I want to share the concept of how Indica Yoga fits into the overall activities of Indic Academy. We started Indic Academy 5 years ago in 2015, and I consider it as a non-traditional university for traditional knowledge. So it's an educational institution, but it's non-traditional, but for traditional knowledge. And the reason why I call it non-traditional university is because we're flexible. We are not regulated. We don't have any, any guidelines that we need to follow. We are just nimble, like a cowboy, immediately able to execute any idea. From an idea that comes to implementation, it's very, very short. So we don't have any bureaucracy. So it's an idea comes and implementation. That's the thing. And that's why we call it. And broadly speaking, I keep telling my colleagues that I live in a cube. My head is in a cube. And the cube has 3 dimensions. One is that we are looking at preserving, protecting, and promoting our Indic cultural thought. So that's one aspect of it, preserving, protecting, and promoting. And this is across dimensions. We are doing it across intellectual, cultural, and spiritual. So it is not just one aspect of our Indic civilizational thought that we are looking at, but it is across. So that's why, for example, we produce that video, which is a cultural expression, which is a dance expression. We support a lot of culture. And then on the spiritual side, we have Advaita Academy and Indica Yoga. And then on the Indology side, we have Inter Gurukula and University Center. So we look at everything from a complete perspective. And the reason we do that is because the civilizational thought itself manifests itself across the dimensions. It's not just one aspect of it. So you see, if I say a mudra, for example, a mudra is there in Bharatanatyam, it's there in Dakshinamurti's stotram, and with mudra he teaches Vedanta. So or mudra is useful in healing. So if you see every thought, our civilizational thought, just goes through all the dimensions. So if you want to preserve, protect, and promote, then you have to have intellectual, cultural, and spiritual. So all these dimensions. And the third perspective is that we look at it from a near-term, medium-term, and long-term perspective. So we look at all the 3 things. So immediate, medium, and long-term. And that's what I mean when I say that I live in a cube. Now, we have 3 centers for excellence. One is an inter-Gurukula and university center, which is led by Dr. Nagaraj Paturi. And basically the idea is that we want to build a bridge between Gurukula system and the university system, because they both don't talk to each other. And then you have the Westerners who are looking at our culture and saying that, okay, this is Indology, and then they're looking at all this culture and they have their own biases and they have their own perspective, their own distortions. So we have a problem. So what we are trying to do in this Inter-Gurukula University Center is we are trying to build a bridge between the Gurukulas and the universities on one hand, and build a bridge between the Shastras, Indic knowledge systems, and Indology, so that when they all talk to each other, hopefully there won't be distortions and they understand each other. And this initiative, we have research programs. We have announced more than 100 research programs, so we are constantly doing research. We are doing teacher training programs. We conduct courses, online courses, and now we were thinking of expanding it through establishing campus centers. So basically we want to achieve scale, so we want to establish campus centers and deliver directly to the students. Now we also have a center for indigenous sustainability. Last night we were having a chat with Dina Miriamji, who is going to talk about it. As you know, globally, we have to look at environment and sustainability, and our culture has the best perspective, best knowledge systems for sustainability, be it Ayurveda, be it craft, be it agriculture. Our Indic knowledge systems, indigenous knowledge systems, are one of the finest, and we have a pedagogical structure. So this Center for Indigenous Sustainability is headed by two very eminent people, Viva Kermani and Rahul Goswami. We just launched it. We did a conference on indigenous sustainability, and it was a fantastic success. We had 27 speakers, and essentially at the core, the purpose of Center for Indigenous Sustainability is to make people worship nature, treat nature with spiritual reverence. The attitude shift, if we bring that, we feel that everything else will sort it out automatically. Just that dimension, and that is what our culture has. That is exactly what our culture has in terms of our reverence to nature. The third center we have is Center for Soft Power, and this is headed by my Akka Vijayalakshmi Vijayakumar and Aparna Sridhar. She's the editor for the magazine, and the director and who heads the operations is Vijayalakshmi. And our basic idea is to preserve, research, and document our entire. So when we look at soft power, we look at soft power across verticals. So yoga is obviously one. We have Ayurveda, we have cuisine, we have Vedanta, we have films, we have literature, we have language, visual arts, performing arts, music, education, experiential tourism. So we have a wide spectrum of our culture. And the idea of this Center for Soft Power is to look at preserving whatever needs to be preserved, but to look at global promotion. And that's a very important thing, because globally, our culture is consumed. We are not doing anything to promote it in a systematic way, in an authentic way, in an immersive way, in a transformative way. For the first time in 2014, we had this International Yoga Day, and that's the first initiative we actually took. But globally, all our culture is consumed in several ways. I talk about this 5C framework. Basically, if you look at it from a perspective of care, for example, care is Ayurveda. So globally, Ayurveda is now very much accepted. Or you look at cuisine, or 1 in 7 millennial is turning vegan, and vegetarian food and vegan food is the biggest growth worldwide. And India, with 29 states, has the immense offering on cuisine. And then we have cultural experiences. Experiential tourism is one of the fastest growing tourisms across the world. People come not to see a monument, but they want an intellectual experience, they want an emotional experience, they want a cultural experience. And that's the fastest growing sector within the overall tourism sector. And India has the maximum thing to offer. And then consciousness. consciousness is what I mean when we talk about spirituality. And lastly, we have craft. Everything in the world today, what you wear on your body, what you wear, what you put on your body, what you put in your house, everything has to be craft. And this is the India is a mother for craft. So if you look at it from a 5C framework, soft power and our culture is consumed globally, and if we promote it in a way, we can become an economic superpower through our culture. And that's what the Center for Soft Power is trying to do. Apart from these three centers, we have several platforms. We have Indic Book Club, which is led by my friend Abhinav Agrawal. So we distribute books. We have distributed more than 10,000 books over the last few years. Then we have a commentary platform run by Yogini Deshpande. It's a commentary platform for civilizational matters. Then we have iGen Plus, led by Soumya Agrawal. It's focused on the same thing, but for children, to make children more rooted and then free, culturally sensitive, but at the same time creative. Then we have Indica Yoga, led by Vinay Chandra and Anu. Then we have Indica Pictures, led by Danji Totipalli, and we are just launching it. We are going to do a yoga festival. Then we have Advaita Academy, which is led by Nitin Sridhar. So we have all these verticals across different disciplines. So you have the centers and you have the platforms. And we have chapters across the country. See, one of the things that has happened in the last 5 years is that in more than 30 places around the world, we have been able to do events. We have done more than 496 events across the world. And we have more than 40 volunteers, conveners and associates, are all as like a family across India and across the world. And you can check Indic Academy and at the footer of the team, and you'll see amazed at the kind of support we have for all our programs. So this is the broader activities of Indic Academy and how we are trying to look at ourselves as an educational institution for traditional knowledge systems, and that's the kind of a growth that we are having. Now coming to yoga and what our desire and plans for yoga are, is that we want to announce, take this opportunity on this auspicious day to announce the formation of Asana Plus Alliance. And this alliance is distinct from the Yoga Alliance. Is distinct because the entry is, if you qualified in 200 hours, then you are eligible to join the Asana Plus. And we're not looking at numbers. Our basic idea is, if you've finished your Yoga Alliance 100-hour program, 200-hour program, 500-hour program, then come to us. If you are interested in enhancing your practice and learning new things from an authentic perspective, from an immersive perspective, from a transformative perspective, any new thing that you want to do, right? That's your journey will start then. Now, the idea of, we are talking about entrepreneurs. We want to create and convert them into yogapreneurs. Every person who is doing yoga, who has finished this and who becomes a member of our Asana Plus Alliance, we want to make him or her into a yogapreneur. Yogapreneur who is thinking about authentic, immersive, and transformative products, services, or experiences. You see, unless you think of it from that perspective, even products, for example, you go to the Bay Area, there'll be a lot of meditation apps, meditation pods, mats, Lululemon, all these are all products relating to our craft and our yoga. So we need entrepreneurs who think of it like that. They're not Indian entrepreneurs. So we need yoga entrepreneurs who are thinking about craft products. So if you set up a yoga studio, for example, you can think about a corner for selling Ayurveda products, craft products, make it like a Starbucks kind of a thing, and then you have your studio. So if you start thinking about this from a perspective of these 5 C's that I was talking about, then if you want to take, for example, you want to do a yoga retreat for it, right? And take a group to Rishikesh. But that's just one aspect of it. There's a cultural immersion that's there. So if you think of it as from a cultural experience, experiential tourism, then you can plan your yoga retreats anywhere. For example, if you want to take Ramana Maharshi's journey when at 16 years, the age of 16, when he started his journey, you give that experience and then go to Tiruvannamalai and then do a retreat there. Like that, India is full of yatras, sthala puranas. So all these you can do a yoga retreat by curating it around an immersive visit to a sthala purana. And that's what I mean when I say yogapreneur. So we want to encourage yoga practitioners who have finished asanas, finished the Yoga Alliance, and then want to offer authentic experiences, immersive experiences, transformative experiences, and look at enhancing their practice. We want to support, we want to encourage, and this is what we mean when we say it's a diverse and an inclusive platform. And so we embrace. We don't have an exclusive saying that this is the technique. We want to embrace all techniques, all styles, and then encourage and make yogapreneurs. Because today the world needs this. This is the need. So we need to step up. We need to raise to the occasion and offer these things. And we need to move beyond asana. And that's why when we say asana plus is not just in terms of learning a specific chanting or Ayurveda, but asana plus is also in terms of expanding your offerings, looking at vegetarian Ayurveda based restaurant, for example. She was supposed to, Divya altered, she was supposed to speak, she couldn't, but she runs a yoga studio and Ayurveda restaurant in New York. I went to visit her, and it's just a fantastic experience. So we need to expand and think about these things. So broadly speaking, this is what our plans are. And morning we discussed the Yogacharya plan, and we want to launch this post-COVID. The moment we are able to do so, we have all the facilities ready. We want to launch an immersive, transformative experience for people to become yogacharyas. And that's a very, very strong desire, sankalpam that we have taken. So that is the second thing. So these are our plans, immediate plans. Do reach out. A lot of people have written saying that they want to contribute. Please write to us. And the way we want to operate is that we want to treat our people who want to contribute, also engage with them, know them more, and then partner with them. We want to treat our donors as partners. So we will do write to us, and then we'll reach out to you. And we want to continue this momentum. This is a fantastic momentum. We want to continue this momentum. We will give Vinay and Subbu and Anu a break for 10 days or so, or 15 days. And then we'll start with weekend festivals. We'll curate weekend kind of programs. So with that, I thank you once again. It was just an amazing experience, an amazing, one of those most satisfying things that we can think of doing and actually doing it. So I thank all the partners, all the audience, all the people, all the speakers, and it's just been a fantastic. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Hariji, for this wonderful journey through what the whole of Indic umbrella is doing with all its different wings. And I'm sure all of our participants are very inspired to hear all those. And then, as you rightly said, each one of them want to be associated in this journey, and sure that they will all be part of us. And with this, we also have Sri Ravi Tumuluri. who is the Joint General Secretary of the Indian Yoga Association, who has joined us from Hyderabad today. We welcome him also. And with this now, yes, we have with us, our Yoga Mata, Dr. Nagaratna Didi, who is with us. And just like we don't need an introduction to the Himalaya or the Ganges or the Ganga, I'm pretty sure to the yoga world, Dr. Nagaratna doesn't need an introduction. We were blessed to have Dr. H.R. Nagendra Guruji in the first day to inaugurate. And today, when we want to dedicate it, offer this yajna to the yoga world, we have with us Dr. Nagaratna Didi. We were thinking of who could be the best to have on this valedictory function. Me and Vinayji, we were discussing a lot. And then we couldn't think anybody else other than Dr. Nagaratna Didi. In fact, in all these sessions that we had most of her students who had been her sishyas, who had been her children, who had learned, and then they have presented in lot many sessions. If today we are talking of yoga as wellness, yoga as therapy, yoga as something scientific, yoga as a socially relevant science, it is all because of what S. Vyasa and particularly Dr. Nagaratna Didi has contributed to. And as a medical doctor, she had taken up pioneering steps in developing all this yoga therapy protocols, and number of research to her credit, with all her students added to that as well. And number of books today authentic on yoga is all because of Dr. Nagaratna Didi, who is well accomplished medical and FRCP, and more than 3-4 honorary doctorates, DSCs offered from prestigious universities. American Diabetes Association best research for diabetes, and the Karnataka Rajyotsava Award is again another honors that she has got, and various awards, and she has been part of various prestigious committees, both from the Government of India, the Ministry of Ayush, and various countries around the world. And I can keep on telling, it's endless, but she prefers to keep the introduction short. With this, I, on behalf of all of us who have gathered here, somebody was messaged, oh, I'm happy to see my first yoga teacher. She remains the same as I've seen her on the 1975 or 76. So that is our Didi. So with this, I, on behalf of Indic Yoga family, I welcome Didi, and we seek forward for her Ashirvachana, her blessings on this global festival of yoga, celebrating wellness, and what is the way ahead. We need to hear from her that this is where today, as rightly Harikiranji presented, rightly as Vinay presented, this is where the global festival of yoga has brought today yoga, and we are here. So we need to know how we can take this yatra ahead. From Dr. Nagaratna Didi. Namaste, and over to you.
Namaste to all of you. It is so nice to see the whole of the yoga community under the auspices of Indic Yoga. I am very pleased to be a part of this program. On behalf of the team, the panelists, I offer my gratitude to all the audience. Without an audience, there will be no program that can happen. I really congratulate Vinay Chandra and Anu for organizing this program, and nothing much to talk about Subbu Bhaiya, who keeps the thread going. I was very impressed to hear Hari Krishanji's narration of what all has been happening through Indic Yoga. It's a great honor to be amongst the group of all these great masters. In this period of Corona, in this period of COVID, when everything is going on a depressive mode, how India can give this energy, how India can give this strength, how India can give this stamina to cope up with this is something very, very fascinating. We always said that we would like to spread this message of yoga to each and every one. And here is the message that we all have to carry on with ourselves to see that we grow inside. To put the whole of the concept of yoga in one single word, what did Swami Vivekananda say? Each soul is potentially divine. You have heard this 100 times. you just stick on this one part of the whole thing, the whole message is there in that. We are all made of divinity. In fact, we always remember this anecdote in Swamiji's life when he made the epoch making lecture in Chicago, when people were asking him, why are you not talking? Because every day the speaker, the organizers were asking him, will you speak today? Will you speak today? He said, no, tomorrow, no, tomorrow, no, tomorrow. Some people said that, oh, he's a sannyasi who has come to America for the first time. He must be scared of the whole thing. Fear was unknown to Swamiji anyway. So he later says, I was listening to each and every speaker who was on the dais. I wanted to listen to them before I put out what India is all about. So he comes out and says, I was hearing everyone saying that we are there, you are here. I am there, we are here as redeemers, we are all sinners, we are all sinners, we have done mistakes, we have to grow, and here I am with this knowledge base, with this divine energy, we will heal you. We are downtrodden. Whereas every night he would come back home and sit in his meditation and ask himself, how can I present this knowledge of India where it says each soul is potentially divine? We are all made of the same stuff called Sachidananda. We are all made of the same stuff called energy. We are all made of the same stuff called confidence. We are all made of the same stuff called courage. We are all made of the same stuff called creativity in its fullness. We are all made of the same stuff called divinity in its fullness. Pavitrata, pavitrata, pavitrata. Each and every cell is made of pavitrata. How do I express this? Was the thing that I wanted to show as the major difference in the understanding that the Indian sages gave us. So that word came out from his tongue when she invoked Saraswati on his tongue and said, Ma, I leave it to you. I don't know how we are going to say this, communicate this concept that we are all made of divinity. We are all Pavitratmas. There is no difference between Shuni Chaiva Shvapa Kecha Panditaha Samadarshina. How I am going to communicate this? I just stood there with my tuning to Saraswati, and there came the word brothers and sisters of America. So that is the knowledge that we have to work on, and how we can spread this universalism, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, how we can become one in our hearts to share, give, love, and all these are wonderful words we talk about. But when it comes to our day-to-day problems, day-to-day lifestyle, day-to-day stresses, we have big gap between what we know as this knowledge base. Each soul is potentially divine. We are all made of the same stuff. We could always be in that balanced state, homeostatic state, samatva state, but we are stuck in our illnesses, stuck in our limitations, stuck in our manomaya kosha, which talks about speed, anxiety, fear. Now this corona time, what is the amount of fear we are all stuck in? Although we have this deep knowledge that I am made of that bliss, fearlessness, confidence, courage, nothing can affect me. If I am doing my yoga practices, I am tuned to that universal knowledge, universal power. But what is happening? We are stuck in my fear. And because of that, lot of physical illnesses, away from the so-called the wellness compartment. We have totally come down to get stuck in our speeded up, uncontrolled, violent emotions, anger, fear, tension, worry, depression, which has led into many illnesses, non-communicable diseases, communicable diseases. So medical science is busy helping people to treat them, give them pain-free state of existence, forgetting the root cause of the problem. So this monkey mind, which is getting us stuck in our fears, anxieties, tensions, leading to many of these mind-body diseases, even in this corona situation, what is causing is that what we call a cytokine storm is purely because of the anxiety and the fear that we go through when we are put in that ICU atmosphere. So in all this, there is only one message that India has for even for wellness workers, health workers, medical scientists, that take the mind as the main controller of everything that happens, whether it's a liver damage or spleen damage or heart damage or back damage or a COVID damage or a lung damage. Everything is controlled by the mind, and in the mind there is only one thing that I am doing, that is we are getting stuck in our emotions because of our education, because of our logical thinking, because of our highly focused way of going deep into a topic, where if I'm reminded of one person who came to us with lot of anxiety, but is a high level performer, high level logician. But what is his problem? Once that logical, in-depth, focusing, intense dharana capacity is there in the performance, achieves great things, but when it comes to anxiety, he does get into that depth of even anxiety becomes an intense concentration. Long duration he can stay on a topic, and in anxiety also he can get stuck in that and he loses control. So this way, we have become sensitive, we have become sharp, we have developed that capacity to move from laziness, from tamas to rajas, and we are stuck in our so-called transition between rajas to sattva, and therefore I, the intense focuser, should dissolve in that universal consciousness, is what is the whole of the knowledge of just that first meaning of yoga that we talk about, that is merge the individual limited I in that universal I, universal Satchidananda, universal bliss is the whole of the knowledge base that we all know as yoga practitioners. But can I practice this? How do we practice this? By first releasing ourselves from illness to wellness to normal human being to supernatural, supernormal human being who is 100% in tune with nature, and apply this knowledge in all the walks of life. And I appreciate the wonderful work that Indic Yoga is doing, where they're able to show how if you can just de-identify yourself from the mind which is stuck in one single thought process, one single way of thinking, when you withdraw and enter into that state of total silence, total inner blissful awareness, creativity just merges, and apply this in whichever area you want. You want to apply it in math, science, music, drama, wellness, health, everywhere. This is what we do in our Arogya Dhamma, where every participant, whether he comes with a cancer or depression or anxiety or back pain or acidity, we just tell them, start from the point of pain, but de-identify yourself and then merge in that Anandamaya Kosha, and body heals itself. This knowledge base is very, very essential to medical science today, who is totally organ oriented, totally stuck in looking at a microscopic view of every part of the body. We have lost sight of the entire humanity, entire personality, leave alone this society at large, nature in general, or the environmental acceptance, etc., etc., etc. So, my dear friends, the yoga community who are totally into this, you are day in and day out working into yoga, day in and day out doing your own sadhana, I always have a small request for all the yoga practitioners, as you are all, that as a yoga promoter, as a yoga preserver, as a yoga practitioner, please move ahead with your own personal sadhana with your eyes closed at least for 1 hour every day. This is just for the day's detoxification, day's cleansing. But if you really have to grow into the so-called knowledge base that we are talking about, Nagendra Guruji always keeps tells, minimum 3 hours of meditation is necessary to really go into deeper understanding, deeper experiences, higher levels of understanding what our Upanishadic masters have taught us. So let us not forget our own inner sadhana during our intense activities of trying to give this to the world at large. Whatever I am, I can give only 10% of it to the world at large. So let us move ahead to promote this, and the only way is research. If you are going to do inner research, express this in the outer research world also. Best of the East knowledge by turning inward, sit for 3 hours, 4 hours, 2 hours with your asana, pranayama, meditation, bhakti, jnana, etc. and become free inside, start expressing that love as a personality change within is the inner research. But this should become the outer research also. Therefore, we are all working as the members who have come out of this banyan tree as Vyasa and Vyasa. So you research in the outer world. Best of the best is the external research, starting from mind, prana, cellular level, molecular level, genetic level. We have to show to the world that this can bring about a big change at the physical level, social level, nature level, and I'm happy to share that we just did a 25,000 people survey during this COVID lockdown, and we are finding that the yoga practitioners were able to cope up with the corona lockdown by having lot of coping capacity, converting this obstacle into an opportunity as by their statement, which we hope to be publishing very soon. So this is the understanding that you have all gained over the last 40, this Mahayajna that we have all undergone. I don't have to talk more about what this spirituality is all about and what it is all about. You have been hearing, diving deep into this knowledge base. Let us take this ahead, and this is the only way to move ahead, because India is the only Bharat knowledge country who has this knowledge base, and we are moving towards becoming a Vishwaguru is the pride and greatness for which we offer ourselves to Bharat Mata for giving this knowledge. The Himalayan masters who have given us this knowledge, the knowledge base that comes from the parampara of thousands of years. We shall all offer our salutations and merge our ego, merge our I-ness into this universal being, and see that we get that trupti, that purnatva of seeing that the whole world accepting this knowledge base. Thank you once again for a wonderful program that has been organized by Indic Yoga. I'm sure this is going to multiply by leaps and bounds, because your vista of activity is not only doing only physical things, but you are expanding it into culture, art, music, science, etc. So I'm sure it's going to grow into a huge banyan tree around the world. Thank you. Dhanyavad.
Thank you so much, Didi. It was as if, you had poured the water for this banyan tree that is just in its growing stage. And what more than such motivating motherly words that we have got today from you. And it's always a good memory for all of us, being at Prashanti at SVyasa and listening to you. And usually there is a saying that where Rama is, Sita would be there. Today I see the other way. When Sita is here, Rama has also joined us. Like probably when Lakshmi comes, automatically Narayana comes. So we had Nagratna Didi here. And we also have with us Sri Raghuramji, who is also in this panel today. And we welcome Sri Raghuramji also here. We had such wonderful, one of the beginning session of Bhakti Yoga with Sri Raghuramji in this whole series. So he is here. I offer my pranams and welcome him. With this, we move on to welcome some of our partner organizations who are here. And out of which, as in the beginning, rightly Vinayji pointed out the beautiful umbrella that we have, which is the Indian Yoga Association, which is IYA, which is leading, which is the kind of becoming the apex body of yoga today, not only in India, but also for the world to look at. And in this, which is the body of all the pioneering legendary yoga institutions coming together, that forms the beautiful Indian Yoga Association. And Indica Yoga is also an associate institute as a part of the IYA. And we have with us Sri Raviti, who is a Joint General Secretary, who has worked with Guruji, Dr. Nagendraji, for more than a decade in various aspects. He has been with Guruji, and he had learned, imbibed a lot from him. And we are so glad that he is part of the IYA leading it. Of course, we have Sri Raghuji and all. Before, I think we will first start with Sri Raviji representing the IYA to have his short felicitation with us. Thank you.
I just would like to intervene just a moment before Raviji will address this. I would like to add that IYA is the first organization that we look up to, we reach out to the moment we have an idea. So the moment the idea comes, the first two people that we will touch is one is IYA Indian Yoga Association, and the second one, or along with it, would be Vyasa, to reach out to Guruji and say, this is the idea that we are having, with your blessings. And when we did our conference for this, IYA has stood with us as a solid support and guided our path through both the events. And as a platform, how do you get people together is one of the amazing things that IYA is doing. It's actually reaching out to various paramparas, traditions, Swamijis, like each, they might have been there in their own spaces, but IYA is putting all out efforts to get them together on one platform, and that has always been an inspiration to us. So Raviji, the Joint Secretary of IYA, is here with us. I now request Raviji to kindly share his words, and then we'll move on to other partners too.
Raviji, we are unable to hear you. Raviji, there's something wrong with the sound. No, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Now
Yes,
we can hear.
thank you, thank you.
Okay. I think my hands-free is not working. So I've taken off the hands-free and just... I hope I'm audible.
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you, Raviji, to tell us.
Thank you once again to Indic Yoga, to Subbu Bhaiya, to Vinay Chandraji, to Harikiranji, because Indic Yoga has done this wonderful festival of bringing in so much yoga content together. And Indian Association is happy to be associated with such an event of such a scale. Thank you also, Anuradha, because you've been at the helm of affairs here. As you all know, I'll just my pranams to Nagratna Didi and to Raghuramji and to all my yoga colleagues there, like Omkar and many of the others. Just to give you an idea about the Indian Yoga Association, it is It is a brainchild of all the great masters, an initiative of Guruji Dr. H.R. Nagendra, who's here with us all the time in spirit. Because Indian Yoga Association, as you can see, is a movement. It is not just bringing together of traditions. It is a movement, and one of the qualities of this movement is the inclusivity. Any movement. I think one of the qualities of any movement to be inclusive, and you can see that in this great movement of which we call the Indian Yoga Association, with all the great masters. So it's a very top-heavy organization, and it offers an opportunity for everyone to join. We can become a life member, or we can become an institutional member. And what happens then is we come out with a commonality. Where this movement, how it grows, is we first had the common yoga protocol, then we had the common yoga protocol for diabetes. We had the research project, the Niyantrit Madhumeha Bharat Abhiyan. We are now bringing in skill yoga training under the skill ministry. Now we're trying to converge what are the available courses under one parity. All this is possible if this movement catches on, and it is catching on because of the support of Pujya Swami Ramdevji Maharaj as our chairman. And we have all the great masters, the governing council, and we have at the moment 37 member institutions of yoga paramparas from our Bharat. So all of us should join this movement. Let's call it a movement from now. That the Indian Yoga Association is a movement, and as it is, we will all be very eager in because I can talk from the other side. Being a part of the Indian Yoga Association, that we are always eager to have more of the family in it, so that we can all work together. I'm looking forward to more such events and more such activities. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much, Raviji, for your kind words, and also for pointing out the fact that this is not so much just an organization, but really a movement, and that we have to try and get more and more people involved in this positive initiative of yoga in the world, in India and then in the world. And we sincerely look forward to continuing our association with you, so that the resource that we have collected can be reached to many more in your network as well. So we're very grateful for your wholehearted support in this endeavor. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
So this effort that Raviji talked about and which led to the beginning of the Indian Yoga Association in India was felt by several yoga practitioners, senior yoga practitioners in Europe, at least almost a half a century ago, and which led to the formation of the European Union of Yoga. So the European Union of Yoga has been another very steadfast collaborator of this Global Festival of Yoga. And we have been extremely privileged to have with us Ms. Gabby Gillison on several occasions. In fact, she opened the first sessions of the festival with a practice, and then came in between many times to also talk about the organization and share about it with everybody. So I request Ms. Gabby Gillison to please come on screen and to share her experience. Please share your experience with this festival, as well as a message for the global community of yoga.
Thank you very much for including the EUI as well. I'd just like to, on behalf of the European Union of Yoga, wholeheartedly thank Indica Yoga and also congratulate you for such a wonderful global festival. for having the vision and then bringing this event to life. I think it's a huge congratulations all around. For 41 days, we've been inspired by so many different teachers and speakers who've shared, not only their expertise, but their commitment, their enthusiasm with us. We've explored so many diverse aspects of yoga. But I really think the most important thing, I think, maybe personally for me, is having brought so many different people from around the world together. I know Vinaya put up the statistics earlier on. But I think, what other event in the whole world does that, makes it possible for so many people from around the globe to participate in the one event. So I think that's really, incredible. And I do hope that, the global links that have come together here have created or birthed even a global yoga community. Because I think that's really very unique and very precious as well, to have that, to make those links between so many people around the world. So I think, Hariji was speaking about, having the momentum after this global festival, like the momentum. And I would say, yes, I think that momentum is really important. We should nurture, what has come out of this global festival. Nurture that and allow whatever the possibility that it has brought up to grow. But I'm genuinely indebted to Indica Yoga and to you, Anu, Radha, and Vinaya, for really bringing this to life. It is, it's a truly amazing opportunity that you have given to so many. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Gabby, for your very kind words of encouragement and appreciation. And we are all witness to with how much dedication you have served the European Union of Yoga as its president for the last few terms, in fact. And you have also brought in a lot of innovation and collaboration within the different federations of the European Union of Yoga. So we are also extremely grateful that you have brought in that energy into the Indian subcontinent and allowed it to spread across the world. And we are also grateful for all the senior teachers whom you brought along for this festival. François Laurin, the Vice President, André Riel, Geza Timchak. Each of them was a gem that many Indians especially feel that they can reach out to. That the yoga tradition is not just for the Indian people, but there are so many others who are immersed in authentic practices. So thank you, Gabby, for that. And you continue as a chairman of the Irish Yoga Association, and that will be a long commitment, I think. Thank you very much, Gabby.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
I'd like to next take the opportunity to invite another very firm collaborator of this program, the Global Peace Initiative of Women team. So we have the founder, Dina Mariam, with us. Dina has been with us on various occasions. She was there in the inauguration, to light the lamp to initiate this program. And then she and her team, comprising of Hannah Bowers and Marian Mastrand, have been extremely supportive and active in trying to bring together various speakers for the different dialogues, as well as the very eminent presenters like Krishna Das himself. So thank you very much, Dina, for adding these precious gifts to this festival. So we'd just like to hear about your experience and your message to our global community.
Well, it is I who want to thank you for giving us this opportunity to be part of such an important initiative. I'm such gratitude for all Indica Yoga, and particularly to you, Anu and Vinay, for including us in this. It's especially at this time during COVID, when we've been in this global pause. It's so timely that we've had this opportunity to really be in the presence of so many great teachers and to really reflect on our life. And so now I want to just say a few words to all the people who've tuned in, because it's like coming off a 41-day retreat. When you come out of a retreat, when you've been absorbed in these sort of protective environment where you're thinking of having lofty conversations, now is the time that we have to apply all that we've heard to the world. When you come out of a retreat, you go back into your life, and suddenly you realize that everything that you have thought you've learned, you now have to put into action. And so that's the moment we're facing, because we're not going to have the evening talk to go to or the morning talk to go to, but it's there and we can tune into it. And I know this is not the end, it's just the beginning. It was so important and has been so successful that I know our partnership will continue and take many forms. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing what comes out of this initiative, how we can work together to spread the message, to help change perception that yoga is not just physical asanas, but yoga is a whole world view, how we understand life, and affects every aspect of our daily life, and how we need to integrate the understanding of yoga into everything that we do. So I think this was an incredible launch. I know that there's much that lies ahead of us, and it all depends on partnerships, how we can work together and join efforts so that we can have a greater reach and a greater effect. So I'm very grateful for all those who tuned in to listen to the talks, and I just want them to know that there's going to be much support as they go back into their everyday lives and try to integrate everything that they've learned. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dina. In the ashram, in the Sri Aurobindo ashram in Pondicherry, the mother talks of the golden link that binds us all. So the GPIW is one of those very important golden links that will hold this effort together, and that has been doing it for so many decades to bring people together. And this is just another step, I guess, in that important journey that you have already been undertaking. So thank you very much, Dina, for your wholehearted support in this journey.
Thank you, Dina, once again. I'd now like to move on to Raghu Anantnarayan ji. Raghu Anantnarayan ji, we are personally grateful to you and also to Ritambhara. As many of you might have heard him a couple of times here on this festival itself. Once he spoke on inner transformation, and this morning again on how to curate or how to design Yogacharya program, especially bringing his insights from the work that he has been involved in deep self-reflections. I think one question that Raghuji has always been engaged with is, how can one be the best of one's nature? How can organizations be the best of their possibilities? I think at the individual level and the organizations level, that has been the quest for Raghuji. And he has been running some excellent programs through Ritambhara. So Ritambhara was one of our partners for this, organizing this. We had many students of Ritambhara who were also led some sessions here. Hariprasad Verma was here, and a couple of others were also here. So we are thankful to Ritambhara, and we look forward to Raghuji's words of wisdom at this moment.
Thank you, Vinayji. I was just reminded, I can't but repeat what everybody else has said. So I'm going to say ditto to whatever I've heard so far. I just want to add a couple of things. One is, there are three very important words in Vastu Shastra. One is bhogadyam, which has something been useful and applicable in something practical. Right? So bhogadyam, sukadarshanam, which means has it been aesthetic. And the third word is ramyam, has it been spiritually elevating. And this entire program, I think, has scored very high on all three. And that is quite something to have achieved, right? And apart from just the fact of the magnitude of what you've done and everything, I think having these three qualities imbued in what you've done, I think was great, right? And so for everybody who's been part of this, a very, very big gratitude for all you people who put in the energy to bring this up and make it happen. And, you know, like Dina ji was saying, you've done your Shravanam now for all the people who've been listening. So it's time to do your Mananam, which will take some time. And hopefully it will distill into Nididhyasitavyam, which means transformation actually happens through this process. Because I think Indica Yoga has lived up to the three words that you set out. You've been authentic, and it's definitely going to be transformational. So thank you very much. And I'm sure, like many people said, this is the beginning of great things. Yeah, so thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Raghuji, for your guidance and for just being there. Like every time we come up with some ideas and say, you just ask one question, you tell me what I need to do. So that has been very encouraging for us to take all these activities forward. And we always look forward to your continued guidance. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that Raghuji just doesn't say, tell me what. He says, I'll hold your hand and take you wherever you need to go.
So thank you, Raghuji. So moving on,
great,
we have...
It's great walking with you people, that's why.
And with a wonderful sense of humor. So thank you.
So we also have two more children bodies that have emerged out of Yes Vyasa, which is the mother organization, the big banyan tree, which has given rise to many, many initiatives across the globe. So two such organizations were also part of this work. We have with us Smita Mallayaji, who is the programs director of Yes Vyasa Houston. She was there as a presenter, she was there as an anchor, and she also helped us connecting to many teachers in US and also reaching out to many students as a collaborator for this event. So we're extremely grateful to have your partnership and association, Smita ji. So I now request you to kindly share your words on this occasion.
Namaste, Vinay ji. I hope you can hear me. Namaste, Vinay ji. Namaste,
yes.
Radha ji.
Smita ji, you're looking very beautiful and hazy. You're looking, there's a whole aura in front of you. Can you do something about it? Ah, that's it. You're looking very fairy-like. It's sort of very ethereal. This is nice as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, as Raghuji said, hearing to all the great masters and all the partners who are sharing this experience of being part of this great festival, I can say Vyasa Houston as a child organization of Vyasa Bangalore is really honored to be part of this great event. And I was sharing my personal experience with Dr. Vinay Chandra ji as well, that this is just as such on record, probably there has been no event ever before like this, especially on a platform that is so easily accessible to everyone. So my sincere pranams to all the gurus, all the great masters who have made this possible. And today, especially pranams to Dr. Nagaratna ji, who is my guru as well. And it feels as we become more responsible, it is a responsibility for all of us to carry this forward. And as the great wording says, nahi jnanam, nahi jnanena sadrisham. There is no equivalent to that source of jnana, and it is all our responsibility to continue to take this forward. So really honored and humbled to be part of this, to even connect And most importantly, I've also mentioned that I have bookmarked my own talks and lists that I have to go back and hear to all the speakers, so that as Gabby Ji was mentioning, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, that we have our own learning and churning that this can bring in. And as part of our school's activity here at Houston, we have also made these talks as credit hours for our students, so that they can go back and continue to benefit from this, and we get good exposure to the wonderful speakers and real rishis, jnana rishis, who are working in this area and field. So with that, again, I'm humbled to be there. Thank you, Indica. Thank you, Harikiran Ji. It was wonderful, hearing you and the vision of Indic Academy broadly, and all the wonderful audience who have, nurtured and given us that enthusiasm to continue. So with that, I will conclude, Anuradha Ji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Smita Ji. Thanks for sharing and also being there when we wanted to be an anchor, or when we wanted to reach out to something, you were always there. So thank you very much for that. I'd now like to move on to, I'd like to mention about Vyasa Singapore. Manoj Thakur Ji was supposed to be with us, but with the last minute engagement, he couldn't join us, but he has conveyed his goodwill and regards and gratitude to all the participants, the speakers, and the presenters who had been on this platform. So that is Manoj Thakur Ji, who is the founder of Vyasa Singapore, which is again a child organization of Vyasa Bangalore, where they offer excellent teacher training programs and therapeutic programs and many other programs, and which is one of the highly popular institutes in Singapore. So with that, I would now like to move on to Ritambhara Wellness. So we had one Ritambhara of Raghuvan Narayanji. We had one more Ritambhara Wellness, of which Veena Mirchandani is the program director. She has conveyed her message through a video recording. So I request now Srinivas ji to kindly present us with her message. She was not able to join, but she was very gracious and glad to send this message, a video recorded message.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the concluding session of the Global Festival of Yoga. It coincides with a festival in South India where we propitiate our goddess Lakshmi, the goddess of granting boons. So what boon can we ask for? Let's ask for human well-being, and on a more individual note, guidance on our path of self-realization. Let me not digress. I was asked to give a valedictory short talk to end this beautiful program. So on behalf of Ritambhara Wellness, may we thank all the participants for their participation. And some of you, I understand, have been here for all the 3 sessions on several days. Thank you, Indica Yoga, for this beautiful 41-day global program that you have put together, where you gave us a taste of the rich diversity of teachings, practices, and research possibilities that the yoga tradition offers. That includes me as well. We are all on this path of learning. You have had global teachers and practitioners from all fields of wellness, and more importantly, yoga, sharing their knowledge and authentic experiences. It's an amazing effort by the team behind this huge initiative. We've heard so much in these 41 days, but I want to tell you about this one very recent incident where I heard Swamiji utter such a beautiful phrase. He said, "One man's wisdom is another man's knowledge." And at this point, the only way to convert this knowledge into wisdom is to reflect on it, practice it, experience it, and then make it a part of our lives. So may I encourage those who would like this wisdom from the Indian scriptures and heritage to please delve deeper into this and learn the essentials and more about life and living. Ramana Maharishi, a great Indian saint, was once asked, "What can I do in this world?" I can't make a difference. And you know what his reply was? He said, the greatest good that you can do for the world is to become self-realized. Have you ever thought about this? How many people you impact in your life? Think about it. A happy person spreads happiness, a positive person spreads positivity, and a content person impacts everyone with his equanimity. So please use this knowledge to help you and us get there. Once again, may I congratulate the team behind this stupendous effort for putting together 41 days of this program with a total of 108 sessions. That's what I've learned. And over maybe 250 knowledgeable teachers, practitioners, and research scholars, and not to mention the thousands of viewers of these programs. Indic Academy and Indica Yoga, and we at Ritambhara Wellness, we all share a common vision, and that of holistic well-being. And I just want to mention that Ritambhara will be very, very happy to participate in any future programs you may have, since we have a lot of synergies in our vision. So thank you all so much for being here and participating in it and in these life-changing events. Thank you so much.
We would just like to take this opportunity to thank Ritambhara Wellness for having been such a strong supporter also, and for the words that Binaji has just told us, that our visions have a lot in common, and together we can work towards realizing many of them. So we are very grateful to each and every one of our collaborators to have given us their wholehearted support in the realization of this particular endeavor. It is a unique initiative, but it would never have been possible without the constant hand-holding that all of you have done for us. So thank you very much. I would also just like to take this opportunity to read out one or two comments of our participants. We're getting a lot of very positive and heartening remarks from the participants. And I'd just like to read one by Usha ji. She says, I bow down to the divine energy that made a Mahayajna of this magnitude possible, and my deepest gratitude to every member of Indica Yoga. It's been an incredible journey of 40 memorable days, a journey which took me into the most thought-provoking, self-reflective, insightful avenues. Every session has been instrumental in guiding and leading me deeper into the inner quest. The consciousness within me has witnessed an invaluable and divine treasure. It's a bliss to experience something that my inner self always longed for. I'll try my best to be an ambassador of wellness. Bahu dhanyavadaha. And the following comment by Ritesh ji is saying, this program is the Amruta Kalasha of Lockdown Manthan. Let us create the world of oneness. We have masters, we have disciples, we have a vision for the world. Let us move. So with these words of encouragement, we are looking forward to continue such offerings and to your collaboration, not just of those who have partnered with us, but we seek new partners, and we also look to extend this to as many people as possible across the world. So thank you to many of you for having taken up the idea of ambassador of wellness. See in which way you can continue being an ambassador, share about this festival in your respective networks, and ask them to share. So make it like this challenges that we are doing these days. So have you heard this lecture? Can you pass it on? So see if you can help these ripples of light extend across the world and bring hope and well-being to many in need today. So with these few words, I would like to make a few announcements. We have with us Gabby, who spoke about the European Union of Yoga. And I would like to take this opportunity to just mention that I was fortunate to connect to the European Union of Yoga through Rodolphe Milia, who was one of the early teachers who spoke on pranayama, one of the very senior teachers also of the federations, the French Federation that forms part of the European Union. So his daughter Noel was also there. They connected us to Yogi Maheshwara, who then also reached out, connected us to Ben Viate, all wonderful souls who shared their experience with us. But we are going to have many more such sharings that the European Union is also going to offer. So may I request Kotiji to please put up the banner for the European Union Yoga's upcoming event. So I'm wondering if Gabby, would you also like to come on screen and just talk a little bit about this? On this platform, we have had both these speakers who will now be talking at the European Union Congress. It's going to be a virtual Congress this time, but every year in August, they hold a one-week conference, a one-week Congress where at least 300 to 400 practitioners and teachers from across Europe and sometimes from different parts of the world also attend. So this time, from the 21st to the 23rd of August, they're going to have two speakers, Ravi Ravindranji and Shri Shraddhalu Ranadeji. And the topic is going to be yoga and the social reality. So if Gabby is there, yes, Gabby, would you just like to say a few words on that?
Yes, I suppose it's different times that we live in. We would always meet in person in Zinal every year in August. And this will be a first for us as well to actually put it online instead. Ravi Ravindra and Shraddhalu Ranade will be the guests of honor. But there will be lectures in all the different European languages, French, German, Italian, Spanish, Dutch. So yeah, it'll only be 3-day event this year. So I think Friday to Sunday. But yeah, encourage everybody to participate if they can. We hope to bring across the flavor of what it normally would be like to all meet in person.
Yes, and for those who live in the European part of the world, visiting Zinal for this Congress is definitely a one-time experience, a lifetime's experience. So add it on your calendars whenever the COVID allows us to travel to Switzerland someday. So thank you, Gabby.
Thank you. Thank you.
Making this possible as well. Thank you. I'd like to next invite Subbu Bhaiya to talk about the upcoming event that he's organizing through Adhyatma Yoga.
Yes. So I think in the morning also I did tell about it. So we have again a beautiful month-long global festival of divinity. You know, when I announced it, somebody said divinity should be applied in humanity. So we call it as global festival of divinity in humanity, celebrating the universal teachings of Shri Krishna. And as we all see, Krishna's relevance is very much evident in yoga, Vedanta, or it could be even in science and management and education. Today, you know, which field is not influenced by Krishna and which master is not influenced by Krishna. It's Swami Vivekananda, it could be Sri Aurobindo and masters like Srila Prabhupada, and everybody are influenced by Krishna. And world over today, we see Krishna consciousness developing at large. And so we have a lot of lessons to learn both from the life and teachings of Krishna. So we from Adhyatma Yoga in support of Indic Academy's Advaita Academy, and of course Indica Yoga, we're going to have this session on Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Jagadguru is the master of the entire world. So Krishna, as we all know, is the dear Lord to us. So Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum, the month-long global festival of divinity, where we're going to have similar sessions, very practical sessions as well on various aspects of asanas as Krishna has taught in the Gita, pranayama as Krishna has taught in the Gita, and correlation between Krishna's Bhagavad Gita and the Yoga Sutra or Hatha Yoga. And we're going to have from Srimad Bhagavatam and various things, the influence of Krishna in various aspects, maybe in management or education and various things as well. And wonderful performances of great chanting of the Gita and various things connected to Krishna we're going to have as well. It's also going to have a cultural part where we're going to have people performing it could be the Carnatic music or the Hindustani or also the bhajans, like the kirtans we had in the yoga festival as well. And also we're going to have various cultural performance, like the Odissi, it could be the dance sessions from Kerala and different parts of the country as well as abroad. So it's going to be an exuberant, jubilant festival with a lot of joy, a lot of celebration, and a lot of knowledge and learning as well. It's going to be an experience in itself. I invite each one of you to join with us. I have shared the link for registration, and we will all soon reach you all through your mails as well. So you can all be a part of this. If you feel anybody who could be part of this journey of the Global Festival of Divinity as well, so please do refer. If they could be panelists, if they could be volunteers, if they could perform anything connected to Krishna and the subject as what we are present at Krishna Mande Jagat Guru, please feel free to contact. I, along with the entire team, will be back to you just within a span of 11 days from August 11th on Shri Krishna Janmashtami this year. Thank you so much. Krishna Mande Jagat Guru.
So we are stepping into the last part of the program. Before we offer our words of gratitude, I'd just like to continue a couple of announcements. One, many of you are asking, how do we stay connected with the work of Indica Yoga? So one of the easiest ways is through Indica Yoga's website, that is www.indicayoga.com. So it's very simple. Whether it is a website or Facebook page or our YouTube channel, you just need to look for Indica Yoga. So website is one of the easiest ways where you can stay connected, get updated with all the activities, and also revert back to look into the programs that have happened and the videos related to the programs. Many of you would like to know where the videos are available. They are available in two places. One is if you go into the calendar section, the event section of the website, you have the month's calendar provided there. If you click on any one of the event, you will be taken through the specific page of the speaker, the presenter. You will find the details of the presenter. You will find their video. If they have shared any notes, if they have given any PDF, or if they want to, if they have shared any notes with during the presentation, that will also be available there. So one page is dedicated to each session. So anything that you would want to refer to, that could be one place where you can look into. You can also go to Indica Yoga website, Indica Yoga YouTube page, which is again a very simple coordinate, that is Indica Yoga, and you have all the sessions, all the programs, all the recordings are available. So in case you have missed anything, in case you want to revert back to anything, please make use of the resources that is available. I'm just saying it as an instrument. What we have gathered there is a very rich repository, an archival material of multiple dimensions of yoga in the ways and means that we would not have thought earlier. We are grateful to all these presenters who have enriched like anything. This will definitely be a good resource for anyone who wants to do research, anyone who wants to do sadhana, which are the two main paths that we are looking at. So both, one is from the scientific perspective, one is from the spiritual perspective. And to anyone who is a traveler on either of these paths or both of these paths, these materials are very, very helpful. So kindly make use of it and share it with anyone else or anyone else who would be interested. So as Harikiran said, as Subhuji said, as Anuji said, we will be having many offerings coming in the short while. So when you have the Krishna Mande Jagat Guru, we have many other events coming up that will follow. We have an aspiration for a Yogacharya program, which will reach out to all the big institutions, whether it's SVSR, whether it's KYM, whether it's many other organizations who have already been running such wonderful programs. We will reach out to them, we'll sit at their feet, learn what is necessary, and then try to come up. This is still at an aspiration level, but we would want to come up something like that. So these would be the offerings in future, but we'll also be continuing with our monthly webinars or fortnightly webinars. That is one quick and easy way to stay connected. We have your email IDs, as I said earlier. We have about 35,000 people who had reached out to us during this festival. So we will be reaching out to each one of them, sending out our updates to them. And we would want to have Sutra, this bond, connected, and we look forward that it grows from time to time. So with these set of announcements, I would now like to offer our words of gratitude to every force that has made this possible. So to begin with, I would like to mention it to Nagaratna Didiji, who was here, who has blessed us, who has guided us our path today and for many, many years. In fact, it won't be wrong, it won't be an exaggeration if I say what we see here on this platform is a family reunion that is happening here. It started with the Guruji's blessings, and we had many speakers, many presenters, and I would like to say that most of them or many of them had the background or connection, active, passive, currently or in the past with Yes Vyasa. Yes Vyasa had shaped them like it has shaped all of us. So we are eternally grateful to what you have done, who you are, and how you have led us our path. If there's anything that we can speak about, it's only because of the guidance, the lighting of the path that you took, Guruji and yourself and Raghuramji, when no one knew about, when no one spoke about yoga, or even forget having a university dedicated to yoga. All of you did your tapasya for many, many decades. And because of that tapasya, because we have Jains, we sit on the shoulders of the Jains and we are able to blabber a little bit, but we are eternally grateful to you for what you have offered to us, for what you have offered to the world. So thank you very much, Didi, for being here, for blessing us, for guiding our paths. Namaste. Continuing further, I'm also grateful to all the speakers, the presenters, the teachers who had come here. So I'd just like to recall them, all of them. I mean, it's not easy to recall their names, but at least their faces, if I can show. So we have a long list of teachers who are here. I'll just quickly take you through all these so you will be able to connect to them. We had about 124 speakers, presenters, teachers here. The list is long, it's going on. And I would like to add, there were speakers who had joined us from Europe, and when they led a morning session, it was 3:30 or 2:30 at times at their place. Yet they were so willing, so generous, they wanted to join and share with all of us here. The list is continuing. These are all have been our teachers here. And with this, we complete about 124 teachers. It has been an amazing platform to receive the blessings of these many people. So we thank all of them. I know many of the teachers who presented have also joined us on this occasion, and they're here as participants, or they've connected to us on the Facebook, and they're watching us. We just want to say we are really grateful. It is actually these times when we really count our blessings. Normally we tend to forget, we take it for granted, but when you actually see something big is happening, and you realize that it's not you, but it's because because so many hands, heads, hearts and coming together. And one of, as I said earlier, the biggest hallmark of this success of this event was our speakers and teachers. So continuing further, we are also grateful to our entire volunteering team and the team of anchors that we have here. In fact, you could see that some people were also our speakers. So that was the best part. The speakers were more than willing to be anchors, and anchors were quite competent to be the speakers. So that's what we see here. And we also, I would like to specifically mention two names here, Srinivas ji and Koti Prasad ji. You see everything technically going on smooth, and a session starting half an hour before and continuing much later when the session is over. And to ensure that every video that is recorded is edited and made available in just within couple of hours, all the credit goes to Srinivas ji and Koti Ram Prasad ji, who have been like, in Kannada we have a saying, Ele Mareya Kai. So a fruit which lays covered behind the leaf and does every activity without being asked for, without being requested for. So that is there and doing. So that is Srinivas ji and Koti Ram Prasad ji. So this is our entire group here.
If we can request, Srinivas ji and Ram Prasad ji to show their faces for the entire team here.
Normally, they are like Asharira Vanis. We hear them or we just see the names, but we don't see them.
Yeah.
So that is Koti Ram Prasad ji. And behind Indica Yoga, we have Srinivas ji. Both are joining us from Hyderabad.
Because all the sessions, if somebody who had been constantly there, only I think they both have been always for all the sessions that they have been there.
And in this entire process of reaching out, we were also helped by another body called, another organization called Verbinden. And we have a team of friends from Verbinden who were looking after the marketing. And many of you were sharing that the posters are really aesthetic and beautiful and appealing. So all those have been designed, marketed, and every attempt, if you're getting a mail a previous day telling you about the next day's events or an hour before the session were to begin. So that was all the handiwork of the team Verbindem. We are grateful to them for all the support that they have extended. In fact, before the event began, we actually sat with them up to 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock on a couple of days, and they were willing to sit and do the work for us. So thank you, Team Verbindem. We are really grateful to you for that. And again, continuing further, these are just some of the names that I took, and some of the names I have been able to mention, but there are many, many such hands, organizations that have contributed immensely to the success of this program. I should say about all our collaborating partners. You already heard them. Anuji has already expressed the words of gratitude. I would like to reiterate, because of all of you, we were able to finish this successfully. Our team of anchors who are always willing to join at any moment, and the entire Indica group, Indic Academy family, where hundreds of people who are spread across the world, they were sharing their support and sharing the word about this event and encouraging more number of people to participate in this Maha Yajna. So all these, but of all these, I would like to really give the pride of place is our participants. The participants have really been another hallmark or other a pride that we would like to carry, because they have stayed with us through all these sessions, offered their complete involvement into it. If there was something that they really wanted to know, they were writing to us, they were staying connected, they were reminding us of some things. Like, it was almost like they had owned up that this is their program. So their mornings used to begin with the lectures in the morning, and the days used to end with the lectures here. So I think it was 24/7 a mental occupation for them, like it was for us. So that was kind of the ownership. Just to give you a quick example, we have people who have joined us from Singapore and from Australia. So even they used to be present for the evening sessions. And we have people who have joined us from Europe, even for the morning sessions. It would be insane hour, like again, as I said, 3:30 or 4:30 in the morning, yet they ensured they were ready and they were hooked on before the system to be part of this journey. So we are extremely grateful to all of you. And I would really like to place on record and say that because of you, this again has been a successful event. So thank you very much. Stay connected with us. We have a long journey to take it forward. And these words of gratitude to everyone, all the teachers, speakers, anchors, participants. We request your support and guidance in this manner every time that we undertake anything, and to have with us always. Thank you.
So I'd just like to invite all of you, with these few words of gratitude that we have expressed to all our yoga friends and yoga family from across the world, to the teachers, to all our gurus, without whose blessings this event would never have been the success that it has achieved. We also would like to offer our humble salutations to the supreme forces that allowed this program to happen without any hitch, because any program can have various kinds of disruptions. But to think that we've had over, I mean, almost 125 events, digital programs, and there's not been power cuts, there's not been any kind of a technical snag, major technical snag that we've had to either postpone the event. We've tried our best to start more or less on time, and the ending has been also by their grace allowed to continue differently. So we'd like to offer our gratitude and do a prayer of a Shanti mantra, a peace chant. So all of you who know the peace chant, which is Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And this particular chant it means, may everybody be happy, may everybody be without disease, may everybody see the good, and finally, let nobody have any kind of sorrow. Om, peace, peace, peace. So as we chant this, I request all who already know this mantra to please join along. And if you don't know the wordings, please join us in spirit, wherever you are.
And also, I request all the panelists to come on screen.
Yes.
It would be so lovely to see you all here. Again, before we start the Shanti Mantra, I'd just like to say this word to Nagaratna Didi and to all the teachers. May we be worthy of the path that you have shown to us. This is the least that we can do to the Guru Parampara, the great parampara of the sages. The sages, I don't mean only the sages of India, but sages, the wise people, the people who have lit the path across the world in all traditions. So we are eternally grateful to all of them. Our only prayer, humble prayer, is that may be worthy of the guidance, the blessings that you have showered on us so graciously.
It's all His.
So we do a chant all together. So, Om
Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Sarve Bhadrani
Pashyantu Ma
Kashtit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om
Shanti
Shanti. Thank you.